Always judge. This is why you should always judge an album by its cover. I'm going to give you three main reasons, and let's see if you don't disagree with me. It's broken. I'm broken. Three little happy little reasons written on my note card. Okay, sunk cost fallacy. That's number one. Number one, Burger King foot fungus. The sunk cost fallacy. This is the idea that now, if you're in the real sense, in the real world, you're at a record store, or back in the old days, the old ages with the dinosaurs, what you do is you'd buy a physical little record. You'd buy this little, I'm going down the road, I'm flirting with disaster. Take a look. See, trying to get no glare on the camera. Hello, you can still hear me. Look at that. This is Flirting with Disaster by Molly Hatchet. The art is by Frank Franzetti, or Franzetti. Pronunciation. The pronunciation, I don't have it correct. But this is the wonderful artwork by Frank Franzetti, who did a lot of great artwork for Conan the Barbarian, when that used to be a comic book, all these things like that. A lot of different album covers from Molly Hatchet. Now, when you see this, let's use an example. Before we get into the sunk cost fallacy and my next two reasons, let's just start with looking at, oh my gosh, this echo. I hear myself every second. How can I deal with it? Anyways, oh no. Oh, here we go. There you go. Now you can see it. Anyways, the whole sunk cost fallacy. Oh no, but if you look at this album art, what do you see? What you see is what you get. Let's see. Okay, so Molly Hatchet. No, you see a jacked Viking, and you see badass art, and you think, oh, this is going to be like some hardcore rock album. Actually, it's a rock country album. So one reason, number one, is you think it's going to be some badass metal album, right? And you're like, yeah, let's go! Coughing in the mic. So you think it's going to be some badass metal album, yay! And then you get it, and the first song is I'm going down the road, I'm flirting with disaster. Bum 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 when I'm burning, burning better. Bum 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 down, down, and down, 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 yeah. Down, 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 do, 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 shop, da, do, da, do, da, do, do, down, 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 love me every day, oh, yeah. Lord, I'm a disaster every day. Oh my God! You know what? I'm blanking on the intro, but the intro to the song is amazing. If I recall, the intro to Flirting with Disaster by Molly Hatchet, basically Molly Hatchet is a unique blend of what you'd hear with like almost like 80s rock, like badass, what I thought this album would be, but also like all this country stuff. But the way they balance it is amazing. Amazing. That's amazing. The way they balance the 80s rock stuff with the country stuff, oh my God, is so good. But at first, this is the sunk cost fallacy. I buy the album thinking, oh, wow, this album art's amazing. And then I've got it, and I'm like, this album art's so good. It got me to buy the album, and I want to recommend people check this album. I want this album to be good. Deep in my bones, the album art is so cool. It needs to be good. This album needs to be good. This art is so epic. It's like the Mona friggin' Lisa. It's like when you have a movie like Blade Runner, which looks really good, but then you're like, man, but there's no good writing. Dang it. I wish this was good, right? Like the prequels for the Star Wars movies has all these really good ideas and all this really good, set design, all these cool things, but it doesn't come together. And you're like, darn it. There's a grave injustice in the universe when things like that happen, right? But in a rare case where that doesn't happen, where it's just, I don't know if I like the singing style on this band or this album or this song, but you know what? Let me give it another try. Come on, let's listen to it again. You want to give it the benefit of the doubt. Maybe I'm just not in the right mood for it. When you actually get something And it's the sunk cost fallacy where you're like, man, the universe wouldn't give this great piece of artwork and then not have a great piece of music on the other side of it. And so that's where you get this whole thing where I'm like, okay, you want to placebo yourself into listening to it. And you're like, no, it's got to be awesome. The thing is, with lots of things, maybe at first they're not your cup of tea, but then you listen over and over and over, and then you find the way that you appreciate it, or the mood you need to be in, or the time of day, or the activity you need to be in for where you do like listening to this music, right? Like, I didn't really like a lot of upbeat, medium energy rock music until I had to, like, basically drive around all of Phoenix, Arizona, block by block, and go door to door to medical offices and do sales. Yay! But I'd be sleep deprived. I'd be in such a bad headspace. And but then I was able to, I found this music. I was like, you know what? It's kind of good right now. I'm like, this has put me in the good mood. Listening to like super positive pop music, which normally I'm like, I hate it. But I was like, oh, I found a time when actually this is the best thing. I can't handle all these rock songs with depressing lyrics. And I would like, but that's when something like Nickelback, you're like, hell yeah. Because then you get to go, oh, these lyrics are about having fun and having a great time. This is putting me in a good mood. Like, you can only listen to so much, I'm so sad. You can only get away with it, I think, if you're not actually really sad. Or else you kill yourself because you're like, oh my God, this is so sad. Like, eventually you go, I need to listen to things that are happier, and because my mood is not where it should be. Like, I'm going through it. If you're ever going through it, that is the time when upbeat things that are very positive, maybe a little more poppy or a little more country, these lower energy, kind of art forms, because it tends to be that people write, more upbeat lyrics. They don't want their song subject matter to be more intense than the actual music is intense in terms of production and composition, right? Because then there's a mismatch for the lower energy music listener. See, when you see what I think is with people with lower intensity, lower energy music is their primary, their favorite, they don't, they have a strong aversion to higher, more intense energy level music, right? Versus people who will listen to like Slipknot or System of a Down don't have a problem listening to Arctic Monkeys or something lower energy, lower intensity, right? Less violent and aggressive. But people who just like Arctic Monkeys, who just like new Cage the Elephant, and they're like, oh God, the first two albums of Cage the Elephant scare me. Ah! Like those people, they're not going to be, they're not going to be liking what's happening. I know it's late at night. Late one night, but that's reason number one. Reason number one, sunk cost fallacy. Number two is it's a heuristic for effort. So you see a cool album cover, you're like, oh man, that's awesome. What is it like? It's there's probably some correlation between really bad album art and really bad music inside the album. There's also a correlation probably the other way between really good album art and really good records. Now, is it 1-to-1? No. But it's one of many things that can give you an overall idea of, maybe this is going to be good. Third thing is going to be a proxy for taste, right? If you're like, man, I really like the taste and the specific style and the preferences and the art, that they chose, maybe they have a similar taste when it comes to music and other things as well, in terms of themes and the way they like to balance things in the art that they consume, and therefore the art that they make might be indicative of that, right? So if I see, I go, if there's things that I think are equally good art, but one's more my taste, and I see, oh wow, this album art is more to my taste, I might go, oh, likewise, there's music that I can recognize as equally good, of my taste and less of my taste. But if the art is more my taste, they might be just more like me in general and have more of my taste even when it comes to music too. And so it's like, I like people who are like me. Huh. So yeah, that's a big part of sales too with other stuff. But I want to give you some other examples. That's Flirting with Disaster by Molly Hatchet. I have a lot of records, but these are the ones I really like. These are the ones I bought, like, specifically. Here we go. Take a look. Nice record. Let's see. Paul Allen's record. Look at that. Is that Bill Bruford? No, it's John Wenton, Terry Bozzio, and Eddie Jobson. So this band used to. This is their second record. The band is UK. Their second record is called Danger Muddy. But look at that. I'm like, I love the style of that. Look how beast, freaking washing hands. So cool. So cool. But yeah, this is a really cool album. It's actually really good. It's like really, really good. Um, go for a run, do something, have this on in the background, and then you're like, whoa, out of nowhere, you're going to hit with all these cool moments that overtake you with like, this is badass. But it's a like a 80s prog rock band with a lot of, starting of beginning of 80s, right? And so you're starting to get a lot of these elements of synths and different things that are starting to come through. Anyways, I know I got the sleeveless. It's a new color today. Another level. Now let me give you another example. Oh, that fell over. Here's a great example. This is a Nine Inch Nails record. There you go. This is a Nine Inch Nails record. Have I ever heard this record? No. You know why? I was at the record store with my dad, and he goes, "Oh, Nine Inch Nails are good. They got a new record. Let's buy it." But I looked at it, and I said, that looks bad. I don't like the art. And then my brother's a big Nine Inch Nails fan, and I think he either told me this album is not good or it's bad. So either way, it works in reverse too. Judge an album by its cover. This is one of my favorite albums. This is, I believe it's Living in Darkness, right? Yeah. Living in Darkness by Agent Orange. This is one of the best punk bands ever. And when I say good, I mean in terms of well-written songs and also a style that I really like. I really like the style. I really like the production. I think if you had someone like Black Flag, with their graphic design and their impact, but they had some of the songwriters of Agent Orange kind of like help them out during the 80s there when they had Henry Rollins. Oh, they would have been one of the biggest bands ever. Like literally. Black Flag are doing well right now. My parents just saw them in San Diego the other night, right? And but the songs are just like they didn't do the drafts they needed to. They have raw ideas there. They take an idea that maybe is 2 minutes of a song that it can be really good for, but if you try and take that 2 minutes of goodness and double it, you usually make the whole thing bad. Right? Look at a lot of metal bands. They get one riff that's like half a riff, half a song's worth of riff. You look at the White Stripes and the Black Keys. They know, hey, get a bunch of different riffs, bunch of different hooks. And I mean the earlier stuff of the Black Keys, White Stripes. The stuff that Jack White's doing now. I don't know. I'd have to go check on it, right? Um, no, but I think even down 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 down. Consideration. I think that's Consolers of the Lonely, or I forget whatever the song's called. I think that might be the album. But it's by the Raconteurs, which has Jack White, the singer and guitarist from the White Stripes. I think that's his second band that he made right after the White Stripes. But they understand that idea of like you can't just have half a song's worth of riffs and make it a full song because then it makes all of the riffs be wasted. the whole song is bad now. You just burned these riffs. You're better off taking two songs that are 4 minutes but only have 2 minutes of riff and putting them together and do a 3.5 minute song that's amazing. Where people are like, "Damn, I really wish they took that whole riff and made it a great song." Um, that's better than burning the riffs forever. I think a good example of people who don't let their riffs be burned was actually that's the inverse. Live Wire by Motley Crue, but then on Looks That Kill, which is like, okay, first album is Too Fast for Love, or is that the Too Fast to Love, Too Fast to Love? But anyways, Motley Crue did something which is almost the reverse of what I was thinking, which was if you burn a riff on a song that's mid, and you only had one good riff out of 3 or 4 that you need for a song, right? Or part or idea or melodies or catchy hooks, basically hooks, let's say. Let's say each part of a song is a main hook. If you need 4 main hooks, let's say you've got a verse, chorus, pre-chorus, maybe a bridge, can borrow one of the other ones and reuse it, but maybe an intro or an outro, or sometimes you just need a variety, so let's call it 4. 4 to be safe because you can always take one out and just have 3, right? Let's say you've got 4 hooks in your song. Oh, you need 4 hooks, let's say, and Motley Crue had a song that only has 2. So Live Wire has 4 hooks, I think, in it, which is off their first album. But then later, they basically rip it off with, like, 2 hooks, and the song's not nearly as good. You're like, why don't you just do Live Wire? And you're like, if you're playing live, you must have played Live Wire and then later play this. You're like, why? Why waste anyone's time? But I'm thinking in the reverse, you can see bands where, like, you know, if they take a riff and then, you know, they waste it on a song, then they go, you know, screw it, let's just make another song with a similar riff and, you know, reuse it and actually make a good song now. Anyway, that was a tangent. But Agent Orange, Living in Darkness, good album, Judge Book Heights cover. Molly Hatchet's Flirting with Disaster, good, that's very good. And UK, they've got Danger Money. Danger Money, that's another one where I had to get used to kind of the vocals a little bit. But I really like no, actually, I didn't have to get used to it. I had to get used to the vocals of the band called Japan, who actually are from the UK. They have one song, Adolescent Sex. It's very good. I might want to do a cover of that because that's such a good song. I just think the vocals are off at some points, and the mixing and the mastering is not doing them the best service. There's some parts that there are some parts of the song that need to be massaged a little, if you could say, right? But yeah, basically that's it. So, you ever see Fuba on Netflix? Arnold Schwarzenegger, you ever seen Fuba? It is like, what are you doing? What are you doing? It's like, I don't even know. I don't know. Is the person who wants to take my money? Don't take my money. You should take my money when I'm in need. You should take my money when I'm in need.
And she had me somewhere. I'm thinking she's a gold digger. But she ain't messing with a Rockefeller. I ain't saying she's a gold digger. But she is not messing with a broke individual. I ain't saying she's...
I ain't saying she's a gold digger. But she ain't messing with no broke feller. Now, I ain't saying she's a gold smeller, but she ain't messing with no broke. She ain't messing with no baroque, like Bach, baroque like Bach, baroque. Anyways, you guys gonna see glasses time? No glasses time. 190 IQ Jew coming at ya. Let's see. So yeah, always judge a book. Let's kind of hit a pose. I can't handle anything, but I can't handle you. Betty, what you fucking Betty? Then I said it on a lemon dish. Fuck the ball. Fuck the shit. Someone drop the ball. No, that's end of everything. But I was doing the lyrics to Sick by Slipknot. Anyways, no, Slipknot's good for practicing different vocal techniques because I think I'll push my fingers into my eyes. That's the only thing that slowly stimulate. Like this is the way Corey Taylor sang Robin's not when he's doing the things. When he's doing clean parts, he's kind of like it's the only thing that slowly stops the ache. Unalienable, that I can't take. It changes it ever else. It works its way inside. If the pain goes on, I'm not. Oh my God. Boom, doom, doom. Oh my God. Not warmed up, not practicing really, but anyways, that's actually a unique way to learn that. I don't know if maybe you're learning vocals, maybe you like to practice, play around with it. Of course, never do anything that feels like actually painful with your throat. Your throat's like a muscle. Shocker. No, but like any muscle. Once you learn how to actually like safely do things, and I don't mean safe and just like, oh, I work out, I just slowly curl the dumbbell. But I mean, you actually, let's see. I can't even pose here with this wall. It's girth. Call me Dr. Girth. Got the Dorito. Got that Dorito, y'all. I got that Dorito. Hey, you, man, you see that Dorito when they walk in? That's how you know, man. You see that Dorito, you know it's on sight. 30 on 30. No, 30 on 30 means 30 bullets leaving the mag, and then another 30 from the new mag is being reloaded into the weapon. So you best understand before you engage with a fellow like me, before you step to my motherfucking rep, it's 30 on 30 on sight. No, that's anyways, rap songs. 30 on 30. Anyways. Oh no, yeah, always judge an album by its cover. Yeah. And then I would say judge people on their cover as well. Over time though, because I'm only 22. So if you don't like what you see now, just wait. No, but I think over time, I think what's inside of a person tends to shape how they act, how they manicure themselves, right? I think a good example is if anyone knows business people, there's this guy, Alex Hermosi, who basically, makes a lot of basically puts out a lot of free kind of like textbooks and things related to business and how to reach people and do all these sorts of things. Anyways, it's not the point. The point is his wife, she's been on the internet and she's been through all these different phases. Everyone says, oh, I had my different era. She starts out really overweight, drinking, like I need to clean my life up or I'm going to end up in jail. Like, right. Kind of in a rough spot. If you look at a photo of her from that point, when she was maybe 18, 19, you try and judge her by that, you'd be like, oh my God, like she's like super overweight and like, looks like the Goblin King from Lord of the Rings. That's very hyperbolic, but I'm trying to make the point that it's very different from just 3 years later when she's completely like hustling and has a super high pitched voice and is, like super, she's a skinny legend, but almost like emaciated chick looking, not literally, but I just mean in the sense of going from like super big, completely different personality. And then you see the chick 3 years later and she's totally different. She's really delgado. She's really thin and she's all these things. And so when you read that cover, you're like, which book, what am I trying to guess, judging the book by its cover? I'm going to have two completely different judgments that aren't, correlated. Then you see something, then she goes into probably used some substances and then her jaw gets more pronounced and she starts to look more maybe now like an orc from Warcraft, right? No, but that's what happens to like female bodybuilders. They take androgenic anabolic steroids. Androgenic means androgen, I'm not a scientist. Google. Basically, the idea is that it's masculinizing. It gives you more masculine features, right? And so you'll have a stronger jawline, but you'll grow tissue, right? All sorts of these things, your voice will get deeper. And so then if you judge her, let's say 18, she was like, big and was drinking all the time. Then she's like skin and has a thin voice and all these things. And if you judge the book by the cover, then very different. And then maybe 25, totally, and like big jaw, and you're like, what's happening here? You're like, your bone structure is starting to shape more into the Predator, like from Alien versus Predator, or and so they're just like, okay. You're just like, okay. No, but basically, you're thinking, you're like, okay, so this is a completely different book if I'm judging it, right? But then over time, in this other phases, then she gets a nose job, then she gets a boob job, and then, but now she just like, and then she like upped her fashion game, and like, but it's all what she had always wanted inside, but she's just over all these iterations when you do certain things and you adjust your appearance, or you adjust the way you live, or different things based off of different values that you've always had inside of you, or that you are more aware of, or you're going to express more now, or maybe they are new to you, right? As you go through different eras of your life, you go and express these different things more and more until eventually you find a balance. Now, if you never end up at a balanced place, kind of, not like perfect balance. No. Is like the goal is perfect balance, but just like you're shifting between different eras and prioritizing different things. Eventually you learn all these different things and you get to where you've actually thought through and internalized your thoughts and beliefs and the way you behave and all these different things. And now you're external and how you take action in the world and how people see you either visually or just through your actions and reputation starts to be more and more of a reflection of who you are on the inside, and starts to be more and more accurate, whether it's the flaws, whether it's the warts. But because of that, as you see someone who is in their 30s, 40s, 50s, you can pretty much judge them by what they look like, right? Now, if you're looking at a teenager, that's the reason it's a phase. It's because the teenagers do go through phases, right? When you're a young person, but those phases start to stack and then they build up into this way, like all these different layers of paint that go together of these different colors. And eventually, it could just be all blue in certain spots, and then it's blank canvas white, and it's all blue. I don't know how to paint anyways, but maybe it's white, and then there's a little bit of blue, there's a little bit of purple that gets thrown on, and then you throw on the red, and all of those were just a phase, but they all start to add up until before you know it, you've got all these different colors, you've got a beautiful painting. It's indicative of a whole person. And now that person might be a failure by their own definition, but then that'll manifest on the outside. And I don't mean like, oh, they'll be unshaven and no, but just like the way they carry themselves, and then therefore the reputation, these things over time, they layer. But judging a physical person as the book by their cover is not as useful when they're younger, and gets much more useful as they get older, to the point where it's just like, it's almost dead on, right? You can almost stereotype, a person. And I don't mean like, by their racial identity or by their gender, but I just mean their whole as a person. You can probably get a good gist pretty quick when they're older, right? Versus when they're young, that hasn't all had time to inform how they present, how they do things, how they engage, right? Repetition. And so even as I do YouTube videos, right? If I think about YouTube almost as like, oh, how many years have I been alive on YouTube? It's slowly getting more and more and more like, see, this is a different sweater vest that I was using today than the other videos, and I like it. It feels way better. The fabric is way nicer. You can see the actual, I don't know if that's coming through on camera, but actually the stitching is much better. But this collar, it's a little unruly for the ascot. The ascot's a lot more slim, and so it's kind of difficult to deal with all that. But yeah, I think it's the main concepts of the video. But no, I would say definitely even on social media. So what were the main reasons? Sunk cost fallacy. And that doesn't just go for I bought the album, but just like, oh my God, that album art is so cool. I want this album to be great, right? And in the same way, because invert, to test if that's true, what if it was the opposite? What if the album art sucked, but the album was really good? You'd be sitting there going, damn it, I really wish this just had cool album art because it's such a good album. You know what I mean? And so likewise, right? I think the opposite is then true to some extent, right? And then second is the heuristic of effort. If they went through time to make a really good and to do different drafts of a really good album cover, and they consistently have good album covers, they're probably more likely to have good music, right? Because they probably just put effort into everything they do. And even the music, they go through more drafts and they consistently put out good music. Then it's like, wouldn't be surprised if those things correlate, right? then because the root is they do a good job at whatever they do is the foundational skill, which is going through different drafts, repetitions, and altering and tweaking things until they are where they want them to be. That might be the actual fundamental skill that all these different things are manifesting and branching off from, right? And then the third was a proxy for taste, right? If they have the same taste in artwork as you, there might be some overlap in, well, if they have the same taste in visual art as you, they might also have the same taste in auditory art, in sonic art as you, or at least some overlap. So it's probably a good indication that you should at least give it a check out, right? So like Molly Hatchet, there's stuff on there that's not the exact same taste, but there's stuff on there that's insanely like the I'm trying to think about the intro riff to that song. Oh, it's ding 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 down down down, but down. It's all these layered harmonies. Like if you took a higher gain sound, you could totally turn that into a almost like Hot for Teacher Van Halen type of thing. So there is those, and which I definitely do like. So there are those overlaps, and so that's why I would say it still kind of works as a proxy for taste. So yeah, I would always judge an album by its cover off rip. I would. And that's actually what the phrase when people say, don't judge a book by its cover. It's accurate to say judge a book by its cover. And then, skim it. Judge everything by the appearance, right? And then it's cliff notes. And then, because it always warrants, you don't just jump into something right off the bat. I'll give you a great example. I wouldn't just jump into committing to, I'm going to spend 80 hours listening to every single Radiohead song. I started by, okay, let me hear a couple that everyone says I need to hear. Then let me hear more, then more, then more. And then you start skipping through them in the sense of you start going like, okay, I've heard a bunch of these. Is this the exact same thing? You're like 5 seconds. Let's go ahead, another 20 seconds, 5 seconds. Okay, this is the verse. This is the chorus. This is the verse. This is the chorus. Let me hear 30 seconds to hear a transition of these things. Okay, none of that was good. Right? And then you do that over and over and over and over and over. And especially when it's got like 0 listens, you're like, okay, right? You can reasonably judge a book by its cover. Like there's a good Iron Maiden song that like I put on my top 10 for Iron Maiden that like no one's heard because I can see the listener count on Spotify. But it's better than other things they have by a lot. By a lot, it's a great song. Even though the rest of their music, like the vocals are dog water, and all these sorts of things, right? So, yeah, I would say judge the book by its cover, and then if it seems like it, I think judge everything. Judge everything. And this is actually, I think, mapping cause and effect, mapping preferences, mapping your own thinking patterns. This is like the number one thing you can do always, right? Is thinking about why you think things and how you think about them and actually getting clarity on what you think just for yourself. It's tantamount. It's self-respect. Basically, if you respect yourself, you want to know thyself. What do they say? To know thyself is to love thyself. But I think it's to have an appreciation for, right? To have an appreciation for yourself is to know thyself, right? When, vice versa, to know thyself is to have an appreciation for yourself. But this whole kind of concept of like, understand why you like things. And so when I bring it to that, you're going to put things probably into 3 little buckets. Thing is good. Thing is clearly bad. Needs more investigation, right? And so that's almost binary. It's two binary things. It's either clear or unclear. And then, yeah. Oh, and then clear is good or clear bad, right? And then unclear is worth investigating further or not worth investigating further. So I guess that's 3 things, right? But really it's, good, bad, worth investigating further, not worth investigating further, right? And so I guess, yeah, that's kind of like how that all pans out like a piece of bread. In Espanol, como se dice pan. In English is bread. You say bread in English, it means pan in Espanol, in Spanish. Anyways, so I think it's very important to judge things based off of, is this good? Is this bad right off the bat? And then go, is it worth looking into? Is it not worth looking into? I can tell you a great example is The album art for Dr. Feelgood by Motley Crue is so cool. I'm like, okay, well, I need to check out every song on the album and like actually listen through. And so, same old situation, great, but Rattlesnake Shake is so good, and no one knows that song. Rattlesnake Shake, ba-doom-doom, make that body ache, ba-doodle-diddle-doodle, rattlesnake shake, ba-doom-doom, make that body ache, ba-doodle-diddle-doodle. Oh my God, great guitarist. Down, 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 but a little, little down, 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 but a little down, 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 but a little down, 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 but 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 down, bam, bam, bam. Dude, so good. The only reason I checked it out is because I judged the book by its cover. I said it's worth, but I was like, okay, this album, great example. Dr. Feelgood, the album by Motley Crue. I said, the mixing, the mastering is so good on this. And Kickstart My Heart's off that record. It's amazing. Dr. Feelgood's off that record. It's amazing. Okay, it's worth checking out the other songs, right? And so then I went song by song and I was like, where is a good high energy rock song that's well written? Because that's what I look for, right? I think rock music means higher intensity and well written in terms of catchiness, how iconic or how memorable it is, right? On average. And so I was like, okay, is there other rock music on here? There's 2 rock songs. Are there more? Or is it kind of punk metal slop, right? Is it garbage? Is it low writing quality that maybe you squint at it? I like it, maybe, right? Anyways, I recommend that. I need to get going to bed, but I'll see you guys in the comments. Let me know what you think. Oh, also, by the way, I'm going to start doing, it'll be set up. Check in the bio and in the description of the video. I'm going to start doing a weekly call with people, just basically to have like kind of like a community thing where we hop on and go, okay, what rock songs are you working on right now? How are they? How do they sound? Let's workshop them. Let's get them where they, let's brainstorm ideas. Let's try different things and come back next week and see where the song is, right? Or, and maybe I can do them more frequently. But join us on our weekly call. Anyways, if you want to write good rock music, or, you just want to like figure out how or see what's happening and be on the ground floor, join us on our call. And I'll set that up when this video is uploaded. It'll be set up. Oh my God. I'll see it. Like, comment, subscribe, share. And let me know what videos you want to see next, right? Let me know. Do you want to see album reviews? I could do that. Anyways, I'll see you. Bye-bye.